My guest on this week's episode of Suds Search is Claire Carlile, local search expert at BrightLocal and independent digital marketing consultant at Claire Carlile Marketing. For years now, Claire has been one of the most popular local SEO experts in the world. She's presented at many SEO conferences, including Local U, White Spark Local Search Summit, Brighton SEO, and SMX London. Her work for BrightLocal has been extraordinarily good. If you like this episode, be sure to check out the BrightLocal Academy. You can take courses taught by Claire, as well as other local SEO experts like Amanda Jordan and Nikki Mosier. They're really well done, and at least at the time this episode airs, it's totally free. Claire is also a frequent blogger on the BrightLocal site. I'm going to start our conversation by asking her about a recent blog post that talked about how to manage store hours in GBP. Plus, it goes over the myriad ways this can go wrong. Grab something cold to drink and join me for a conversation with Claire Carlile. We'll talk about her contributions to the local search ranking factor study. We'll talk about her favorite client, Folly Farm. And we'll spend a little time discussing Welsh cakes. Claire Carlile, welcome to Suds Search. How you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited about this one. I'm a big fan of yours. And we're catching you at a good time. You've started a new gig at BrightLocal, and I think you've been there a little while, long enough to at least tell us how it's been going. So tell us about the role that you'll be working on at BrightLocal and what we should expect from you in 2022.
Ooh, well, I started working for BrightLocal last April. Yeah, I remember now because they sent me a bottle of gin for my birthday, so that was nice. And I work with them, so I am the local search expert, which is mostly meaning that I get to write and present courses for the Academy, and I get to contribute content for their blog, and I get to chat to nice people like you and do some presentations and webinars and things like that. So it's lots of fun working with nice people.
I love it. And if there's one thing I could plug for our audience about the BrightLocal is that BrightLocal Academy that you mentioned. You have a couple of courses up. Some of our friends are on there, like Nikki Mosier has a course up. This is really high quality. And so I'd point them in that direction. So
yeah, for sure. And Amanda and Danny has just done a course which was released yesterday, I think, which is on reporting, which is really good.
Well, awesome. Well, I wonder if I could ask you about a blog post you wrote for BrightLocal. It's about opening hours in formerly known as GMB, now GBP. I'm still getting used to this. This is one that I think people who don't work in local SEO might not realize that this could become an issue. I mean, it would be like, you mean to tell me that the businesses or the hours that are set on Google might not be right, or there could be some confusion here? This might be a tough question to answer quickly or succinctly, but what don't they know about hours on GBP? Why does this get tricky?
I think that it's obviously always been important to have the correct hours wherever people are finding you, whether that's your website or Google Business Profile, Facebook page, etc., etc. But we're all still operating in this COVID landscape, aren't we? So that's right. When things started to, people are starting to work differently. Products and services are being delivered in a different way. So again, it was very, very important for businesses to make sure that what they had in their business profile was current and was up to date. So the whole idea that you could set it and forget it even more than ever was not correct. So then you have your opening times, and then I think, I can't remember exactly when it came out, there were additional hours, additional types of hours, so new functionality that started to show up in Google My Business that businesses didn't necessarily know to update and what that would do.
Well, fascinating. And I mean, we're talking now in, what is this, the middle of January, the end of January? I can't keep track of it right now, but it's we're in January for sure. So we've just wrapped up the holiday season here in the States. It's Thanksgiving in November, Christmas and New Year's. So like you need some special hours during those periods of time. Like for instance, SearchLab was totally closed between Christmas and New Year's that whole week.
Yeah.
If we don't have a lot of people come into our offices, but if we did, we would want them to be aware we're not going to be there, right? So is there a way that you could help our audience understand where you want to make a temporary change? Like this isn't going to be like every Tuesday we're closed. It's just for this period of time. You want to make a change for a holiday season or for something like that.
Yeah. So then you have, it's really good. It's like you're giving me a test. It's like, when did I write this piece and can I remember anything about it? So your special hours. So Google could be just taking it that, okay, it's Christmas Day. Okay, it's Boxing Day. So they might be displaying in your business profile, hours might not be correct because of holidays or whatever the wording is. So obviously you need to go in as a business and mark down what you are open, the times that you are open. And that, I'm not sure how far in advance you can calendar that up, because you could be doing your dates, months in advance. And then there are additional hours which Google rolled out, which are all sorts of things on there. It's like happy hour. I can't remember what else is in there, but it's a big load of lozenges when you click on there, which doesn't actually do very much in terms of, it doesn't inform Google in any additional way, apart from somebody would click on your hours and would see underneath it, maybe you had a happy hour for an hour or something. People started using online hours during that time, but again, it doesn't really change very much about the way that your business listing looks in the SERP. But it would be relevant for someone if they did click on more hours and see that. But yeah, so Google rolled out a lot of changes to respond to the need for businesses to update things quickly and easily during COVID. But as is the case often with business profile, it's not necessarily completely joined up.
I love this. Okay. Well, outstanding. Well, at the risk of giving you one more test question, I'm sorry, Claire, but I do have one more question about the there's one other thing that you point out that I don't know that everybody knows that this goes on. So other people, like someone else, could attempt to change your business hours, or I think what's more common actually would be like Google is pulling information from some third party that now has tried to attempt to change it your hours. Either way, that's pretty annoying. Like we want to be in total control of our store hours. We don't want somebody off the street to change it. What advice can you give people about being vigilant about this? Like making sure that your store hours don't change because some other actor.
Naughty Google, really, and naughty people changing things that shouldn't be changed. I think there could be a very, very clever way of answering this that I'm not aware of, but in my experience, a lot of time I'm checking manually. I'm going into the dashboard every other day. Google will let you know if someone has made a change, because that will show right at the top of your business profile. And I am sure that anyone that is using third-party monitoring tools, that would give you some sort of alert. But I would know if somebody had changed, because I would be going in and out of my dashboard. But it's just a thing to be aware of for businesses, is that you need to monitor, you need to be having a look to see what your business profile actually says and what it looks like. That was another presentation I did on different things that you needed to do to actually monitor and see what is happening and what things look like, and to see what changes have been made, because it is possible that things can be changed. And we did some testing just between some friends and some colleagues here. How easy was it for them to change my opening times? And the answer was very, very easy. And it did get pushed live into the business profile. Yeah.
What an interesting study. So yeah, I think this is something not everybody knows about. So it's sort of like a consumer alert. So I like this. All right. So I want to abruptly shift gears and go to talking about the local search ranking factors study, which you are a contributor to. SearchLab's Vice President of Search, Greg Gifford, is also a contributor. It's like one of my favorite things in local SEO. So I hope you're okay with nerding out with me on this a little bit.
Have a go.
So let's try one here. So the study does a really good job. If it started in 2008 with David Mim, it's now in the hands of Darren Shaw at Whitespark. And it does a really good job of discussing what's changing year after year. So like what signals are getting more weighted, more heavily weighted, what's getting less weighted. and so on and so forth. But one of the things that I like to look at is what's really not changing. Like what's important and has stayed important. You are quoted in the article as saying reviews are as important, maybe more important than ever. So this is again looking through the lens of a COVID world where reviews are just as important as ever. And I think this is what I really love to talk about is like what's going to stay the same this year. I think reviews have a chance to be just as important a signal as we continue to live through COVID. Maybe help our audience understand how are reviews taking on an added significance.
An added significance. When did I say, I'm just like, what did I say in the local search ranking? Reviews, what do? We use them. We use them as consumers, don't we? We use them to make a judgment over which business to use over another. And it's that sort of basic foundational marketing that you are what people say you are. So obviously they're important, or one of the things about the local search ranking factors is however many people are interviewed, obviously we don't know how the algorithm works. What we're looking at with that survey is what people think could be the case. So it's talking to professionals, people that work in agencies and all sorts of things about their experience. And so I like to take reviews because when is that never going to matter? Because it's obviously important for the algorithm, but it is totally important to our potential customers. So one of the, we've done countless talks about, how to get reviews, how to get keywords in reviews, how to, review and feedback loop, how to use reviews, how you can use them on your website, how you can mark up first party reviews for schema, all those types of things. But what we always need to remember is that we, as local search marketers, are also consumers and buyers of goods and services. So we need to think about how we use reviews to help us make decisions. So that's why reviews is important.
Yeah, I love this. And it's so important for conversion, right? Like, it's like if you're going to, I just think about myself as a consumer. Yeah. Before I go somewhere, I look at the reviews, right? And so we spend a lot of time as local SEOs, and I think these are all important things, talking about posts and Q&A and everything like that. But really coaching our clients through reviews can be a way to drive up conversions, can it? I mean, it seems to make sense.
Of course. But I think also people, when they get into the world of reviews, they think about total number, aggregate ratings. But what we mustn't forget is that reviews are also a source of learning. That's why I say it's a feedback loop, in that you should be taking the corpus of those reviews, running them through an Ngram or something like that, some analyzer, so you can pick up themes within that. And then you can really easily see, well, what are the themes that are giving people joy, and what are the themes that are causing problems, within this corpus of reviews. So not to overlook the fact that there is a manual element of actually reading them and looking at them and working out what they mean. It's just not, reviews aren't, oh God, well, we'll get reviews and we've got 6 million reviews and we can use them for schema. It's like, no, but what can we actually learn from our reviews?
Yes. Yeah, you can really, we could go down a rabbit hole, you and I, on reviews. I'm gonna try one other one though, because I want to talk about the less fun stuff in our industry as well, which is that Google weights keywords in the, I keep wanting to say GBP business title heavily. This has led, as everyone knows, anybody who's in local SEO knows, this has led to a lot of spam. Businesses use all sorts of tactics to try and enter keywords into their business title. You say in the post, you're quoted again saying, sadly, there still exists plenty of crap on the map. I don't know. This is an open-ended question, but is this trend ever going to die down? Is this just going to be with us forever? And what can people do?
There's always going to be spammers and people that want to sort of make a quick buck in a way, isn't it? But when you think about, it's not, I haven't worked in a lot of spammy industries. When I have and taken a quick look, that some industries you're going to see a lot of fake listings, a lot of keyword stuffed business names. And I know that you spoke a while ago to Colin about basically, well, we've had the vicinity update, which supposedly has dialed down, some of the keyword stuff, supposedly, looking at the results that people are getting with that. But we have all these businesses that did legitimately change their names, which is also making the map look spammy, but it's justified spam. But then you have to come down to how could you build a brand around a generic keyword modified business name? And that's where I've been involved with, especially small and medium-sized business at the time of ideation of the business, and you think about naming conventions. So there's this idea that you need something which is unique and that you can build a brand around, but obviously it's going to be helpful to also include your primary category or some sort of attribute or modifier that is what you do. And with small businesses, any businesses, you need to think about, okay, well, is that going to limit what you can do because you're using, how the business can grow, because you're saying, I don't know, my name is Amethyst Window Cleaning. Window cleaning is the only thing that you can do with that, isn't it? Whereas, it's that balance of, I want to include a keyword, but I also need to have a name that I can build a brand around. Because otherwise you're looking at the map and you're like, I want a plumber. Oh, you've got, London plumber, London plumber, London plumber. How do you differentiate between them? So spam is still a thing. I know that in my experience, sort of, on a low level, trying to get rid of spam is not as easy as it used to be, I would say. But depending on which industry you're in, definitely getting rid of some of the spammier competitors off of the map is going to result in increased visibility for your own client with their proper business name.
I love this. Okay. And then last thing. So I want just like a really simple, actionable thing that somebody on our listening to this might be able to do. And I saw something that came to mind. So Darren lists the top 20 local pack factors and the top 20 negative factors. So the top factor is primary GMB category. The top negative factor is incorrect business category. So it sounds like business categories are a good place to start. You get to have additional business categories too. Do you have some quick tips and strategies for something? This is just the fundamentals of setting up GMB or GBP the right way. But it seems like it can be a big difference between success and failure if this doesn't go right, or if you're not careful about it. What advice can you give people about category selection?
Choose the correct one, and when you look at that, you look at, is this based around search volume? So thinking about, you might be trying to rank for one term, it's going to be easier. There's less competitors with that primary category, but then there's less volume around that. So with regard to categories, obviously it's useful to know what categories there are that exist. So you can do that in a number of different ways. You can do it using, I can't remember what's it called, the GMB Everywhere Chrome extension, so you can look at your nearest competitors. Right. And then there is the tool Pleeper, I just like to say it like that, Pleeper, which has got all of the categories which you can export as well. So you can look at that, look at your competitors. You should know the business that you're working with inside out in terms of what are the primary products and services. And then with regard to primary categories, I know that I've listened to Joy talk a lot about practitioner listings, and if you have multiple listings within the same business, then you can mix it up so you have the primary category for one as something, maybe law or whatever that is, and then type of law for the practitioners. Also, some businesses will need to change their primary category around depending on seasonality. So again, it's not another thing that you can go, oh, right, yeah, that's the category, it's done, because you might find that Google removes a category, adds a category. That's another thing that comes up is I worked with a business that is an escape room, and there was no escape room category. So as soon as there was an escape room category, then they could use that as their primary category, whereas before they'd been something like tourist attraction, which obviously wasn't as relevant, and people were searching for escape room, but there was no keyword match category. So that's going to give Google a lot more information now they've added that. So again, it's Joy publishes the new categories that she sees once a month. So if you're waiting on something, it's a good idea to keep an eye on that and to see what's new and what's gone away.
Well, I like this. Is some of that, there was a lot in there, but some of that advice is similar to what you said about opening hours, which is there's nothing on here that you set it and forget it, right? It's always something that you should be engaged with and working on. So I wonder if we could have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to have a few questions here that I got from Greg Gifford.
Oh,
so
no.
The first thing he said to ask you about.
I know. Is it? Yeah.
What is Folly Farm? I don't know about Folly Farm.
Folly Farm? So Folly
Is
Farm.
this a client or something like that?
It is a client, yeah. So it's Folly Farm Adventure Park and Zoo, which is here in Wales. They're my absolute favourite client in the world. So they have a big attraction. So they have loads and loads of animals. They do animal experiences. Wow, they've got a fun fair. So they're just amazing. So it's like the dream client. You're never going to be short of content. It's like, here's a picture of a sloth. Here's a baby rhino. This is someone feeding a giraffe. So I love them. That's Folly Farm. So I talk about them a lot because they're my favorite.
I love it. And then this is where Greg gives me just like 2 words. It's like it's no context. So he doesn't tell me, I don't know anything more than you do. So it's kind of a high wire act for both of us. So what he has for you, he has 2 no context Greg questions. The first one is Welsh cakes. What are Welsh cakes?
Welsh cakes. So Welsh cakes are they're very flat, sweet cake, and they have sultanas in them, and they're a Welsh thing. And when I go to Brighton SEO, I like to take a little wicker basket with me full of Welsh cakes, which then I give to all my lovely, lovely friends.
That's awesome. And we have a Welshman in my company, Josh Roberts. So I'm going to ask him about these things and see if I can get them without traveling all the way across the pond. So
I'll send you some.
The last one, well, that would be very nice. So the last question from Greg, I promise you, is he said the candle incident.
He said skull candle. Incident.
Does this make sense?
It makes total sense. It's Greg on a Halloween webinar. Had a little skull candle, which it didn't look like a skull, and it gave everyone quite a surprise. The end.
Oh, I love it. All right, well, very good. Well, the only other thing I would say is he said to point out that you're everyone's favorite local SEO person. It's not hard to see why. You're a delightful conversation partner, and I've really enjoyed this. Claire, if people want to get in touch with you, what's your favorite social media? What's your favorite way to get in touch with people?
I think Twitter. So on Twitter, at Claire Carlile.
Okay, awesome. And we'll be sure to link to your content on BrightLocal, and just so looking forward to everything you do in 2022. Maybe go for a swim in the freezing cold water here later today, just as inspiration from looking at your Twitter today. But in the meantime, Claire, it's been delightful talking to you, and I'm going to sign off for now. We'll be back next week with another episode of Suds Search.
Thank you.